This week on the channel, I've been spending some extended time with a car which I feel quite fondly about. It's small, it's sensible, and it's secretly spicy, and I think that's a recipe for the perfect car in my eyes. This is the Skoda Fabia 130, and no, before you start typing it, 130 doesn't stand for the brake horsepower. The name actually celebrates Skoda's 130th anniversary, and here's the fun bit. This is actually the most powerful production Fabia ever made, but it's not a VRS. So yes, it looks like a sensible little super mini, but it's packing 174 brake horsepower, will hit the 62 in 7.4 seconds and tops out at 142 miles per hour. And honestly, I think this might be one of the most usable, enjoyable, fast small cars that you can buy right now. Because you see, instead of chasing those silly power figures, Skoda has actually built something that you can use properly on real UK roads. And that's pretty rare nowadays. This is not a hardcore hot hatch. It's something that I think is a bit more interesting. Hi guys, my name's Tish and welcome back to Auto Social UK. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you why I think the Fabia 130 should be a car that you pay a little bit more attention to. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you do like new car reviews and car content, well, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So think of this as the warm hatch hero we didn't know we needed. It's based on the Fabia Monte Carlo, but the engineers have been busy. Underneath the bonnet, you've got a reworked 1.5 litre TSI Evo 2 engine, now making 174 brake horsepower and 250 Nm of torque, with peak shove arriving from just 1500 RPM. Skoda hasn't just tweaked the software either. There's also stronger internal components, a revised intake system, and durability upgrades designed to handle extra output long term. 7-speed DSG gearbox has also been reprogrammed too, so it now shifts higher up the rev range, it downshifts more eagerly in sport mode, and it also reacts quicker when you get back on the throttle. It also sits 15mm lower, rides on bespoke 18-inch wheels, and gets recalibrated steering, plus new, normal and sport drive modes. So yes, this isn't just a styling pack, there's actually some proper engineering which has been going on here, even if Skoda stopped short of calling it a full VRS. Now, quick side note before I tell you more. People often think that gap insurance is only for big, flashy and expensive cars, but this Fabia is $29,995, and that's still a serious amount of pocket change. Cars, even sensible ones, can drop in value quickly. So if the worst is to happen and it's written off or stolen, your insurer may only pay out what it's worth at the time and not what you actually paid for it or owe on finance. That's where ALA Gap Insurance can help you cover the difference. I've worked with them for a while now because they specialise in this, and it's one of those things that you don't really think about until you really wish you'd had it. Now, if you want to take a look, there's a link in my description box down below, and you can also use my code TISH10 to get 10% off. Right, let's get back into the fun bit. So back behind the steering wheel, and this is where the Fabia 130 just properly gets under your skin. Because on paper, 174 brake horsepower doesn't exactly sound wild, but in a car that weighs just 1.2 tonnes, it actually genuinely feels punchy. Put your foot down and there's a nice surge from the low revs. Then, past about 3000 RPM, it really wakes up and it pulls cleanly towards the top end. It's not explosive, it's eager, and I actually think that makes it more enjoyable to use day to day. Turn in and there's a bit more bite than a normal Fabia. The steering has a bit more weight and also a bit more feedback. Push hard into a bend and yes, you will find safe understeer, but ease off slightly or trail the brakes and the rear end will start to come with you. It feels adjustable, playful and confidence inspiring rather than being edgy. You can loosen the reins slightly as well with ESC Sport, which gives you just a bit more freedom before the electronics step in. It's still tidy, it's still safe, it's just less overprotective. And the ride? Well, this is what makes this car really brilliant. You see, it's firm enough that you feel connected with the car, but it's not crashy and it's definitely not uncomfortable. You could genuinely daily this car. Long motorway trips are an ease, but then you can hit your favourite B road on the weekend and enjoy yourself without feeling like you need a chiropractor. This car is fast road fun, not track day punishment. So we're very much established by now that this is a warm hatch rather than a hot hatch, and I definitely think the exterior styling reflects that because it's not overdone, it's not overly sporty, there's just some subtle details. You do get gloss black wing mirrors, gloss black roof, and this gloss black front grille as well. And one of the features I do like is you just get a gloss black tip splitter at the front. It does make it feel just a bit more sporty and a bit more planted as well. Now with this being the 130, you do also get 130 badges. They're on the side and they're on the back. And I actually really like the placement of this one on the side. It feels very retro, but it also sits just above that crease in the bodywork and it emphasises it. But some people may not quite like this because you'd really have to be into your Skodas to know that this stands for 130 years and not 130 brake horsepower. And some people who really appreciate their slightly sporty performance cars may not want to advertise 130 on it. Now they all sit on 18-inch alloy wheels and they're also smoked. They look really nice actually. And you've got some red brake calipers as well that just again give it that slightly sporty touch without overdoing it. Now on this Fabia 130 you do actually get something which no other Fabias get, and that is a proper set of physical tailpipes. You can actually see them. You see on all the other Fabia models they've hidden them away, but on here they're displaying them proudly and I quite like that. You also get a gloss black diffuser around the back, you've got an extended roof spoiler. This is quite nice, you've got some little tips on it that make it look quite sharp and aggressive. And then my favourite element, which is so simple, you get this black stripe across the back, which you don't notice at first, but when you do, it really adds a lot to the design. And this has been inspired by Skoda's rallying history, which I think is always pretty cool. So what actually separates this from the normal Fabia Monte Carlo on which it's based? Now with this car, around town it's smooth and easy. In sport mode it holds gears longer and it also gives quicker downshifts, which is great when you're pressing on. I want to talk about something and it's this gearbox. So like I said, they have remapped the GSG gearbox and they say that's so that you get quicker upshifts and it's just a little bit more engaging to drive. But it does still feel more suited to a standard Fabia. I don't really feel connected using this gearbox. It does still hold on to the gears a little bit longer than you want, and you really will need to use the paddles if you want to properly feel engagement with this car. This is where I can't help but think about my own car. This is my own Volkswagen Up GTI. This little thing only has 110 brake horsepower, but what it does have is a 6-speed manual gearbox, and that makes it so much more engaging. You're constantly involved, constantly choosing the gears, and you're constantly part of the driving process. And in something like the Fabia 130, I can't help but think that a manual option would have really taken it from very good to brilliant. The DSG is effective, it is quick enough, but it doesn't quite add to the excitement in a way that a really good manual car will. That said, when you settle into its rhythm and use the paddles on a good road, the car still flows really nicely. The balance is friendly, the chassis feels secure, and there's enough power to make overtakes easy without ever feeling intimidating. It's the kind of car that you can drive quickly without feeling like you're constantly managing huge performance. When it comes to warm hatches, let's face it, they've never been known for their interior quality. Think of cars like the Vauxhall Corsa VXR or even my Volkswagen Up GTI. They don't have high quality interiors, but the difference is when those cars were on sale, they were more like £20,000. This is £30,000. So for a warm hatch, I think it's got a lovely cabin. For a £30,000 car, yeah, there is more plastic than you'd hope. And they're still sticking to those gloss black elements in little areas inside this cabin. But that's the negatives out the way. Elsewhere, I really like the interior of this car and it has some really high quality elements. I love the steering wheel, that feels great. You've got those lovely heavy scrollers finished in metal on the wheel. And I like the new Skoda badge as well, spread proudly across the front of that steering wheel. You've got physical climate controls and lots of buttons around the gear selector. You've got a physical drive mode button as well, which I think is brilliant. I also love the carbon, which goes around the centre of the cabin. Sure, it's not real carbon, but actually I think it's a really nice touch and it does give that sporty element. You've also got some chrome, which is just in areas you're not going to see, and you can't tell at the moment, but it does have a nice bit of ambient lighting as well. I also really like these seats. So they're super comfortable. You've got some real bolstering on the sides, so when you're taking those corners, they're going to really hug you into place. I like that you've also got that carbon effect down the side, and you've got the stripes in the centre, but they're still a practical cloth, and you even get an ISOFIX fitment on the passenger seat as well. This really is a car which finds a happy medium. This still has screens for your digital driver's display, and it has a nice central touchscreen, but you also have those really easy to use elements as well. I really like it. If you want to see what the rear seats are like in a Fabia, you can watch my old Fabia video, or pretty much any other Fabia video which is on the internet, because it hasn't changed. It's still super practical. But I will tell you about the boot. Of course, with this being based on the regular Fabia, it's absolutely incredible for boot space. Inside of here you get 380 litres, which is brilliant for this class, and actually it beats some of the cars in the class above. It's bigger than the Volkswagen Polo and pretty much anything which is a competitor for this car. And as you can see, it doesn't stop there. There's also loads of practicality. You can get features like a reversible boot floor, you've got a luggage hammock, and loads of storage on the sides and underneath the boot floor, and you even get a pull down pulley to help with the boot. Costing just a touch under £30,000, we do need to talk about the world in which this car lives in, because fast, small cars have really thinned out. We've lost icons like the Fiesta ST or the Hyundai i20N. And hot hatch money nowadays usually gets you something bigger, heavier, or even electric. So the Fabia 130 arrives as a bit of an unexpected gem. It's not trying to be a full-fat GTI rival, but it does offer genuine performance in a small, usable, everyday package. Now, if you're cross-shopping, then the obvious alternative is going to be the Volkswagen Polo GTI, which has more outright power, but it also costs more, and it also just feels a bit more serious than playful. Then you've got the Mini Cooper S, and that gives you more sense of occasion, but you lose out on space and practicality. And beyond that, superminis just don't often offer the warm hatch balance anymore. So yes, nearly £30,000 is a lot, but for the blend of pace, comfort, and proper Fabia practicality, I actually think that this makes a strong value case in today's market. So no, this isn't a full fat hot hatch, but it might be something better for real life. It's quick enough to be fun, it's small enough to be nimble, it's comfortable enough to use every day. The Fabia 130 proves that you don't need massive power to have great time behind the steering wheel, and honestly, that's the kind of car that I love. I really hope you've enjoyed watching today's video. Let me know down below, has the Fabia got enough spice to keep your palate happy? Or are you more Vindaloo than Booner? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. If you have enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos on Auto Social UK, then make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification to never miss another video. Until next time guys, see you later.